not out of it yet, so he still has a shot here to make day 2 and the World Championship. We're going to go jump into Nico Bohny versus Mike Sigrist. Challenger versus a rival up against Rakdos Arcanist and Phoenix once again. Ooh, more graveyard shenanigans. Both these decks, they really like their graveyards.
Yeah, absolutely. And this Dreadhorde Arcanist deck has always been one of my favorite decks, and it got quite the improvement here. Unlicensed Hearse is a great sideboard card against these Phoenix decks, but Fable the Mirror Breaker ends up just working perfectly for this style of deck, being able to, you know, get that creature on chapter 1, chapter 2, discard away some of these extra hand disruption spells, maybe when you've already ripped apart your opponent's hands, and then chapter 3, being able to copy either Dreadhorde Arcanist to be able to cast an extra spell, or copy Seasoned Pyromancer to be able to draw a bunch of cards with it. So really all the modes are excellent in this deck.
And I gotta say, I really do like this build from Nico Bohny, where he's playing 3 unlicensed Hearses in the main deck, you know, respecting the Phoenix and all the other nonsense that comes with it when it comes to graveyard.
Yeah, I believe we saw Jan Merkel as well playing Phoenix, and I think playing 4 unlicensed Hearse. It just works out so well when you just Thoughtseize and Inquisition your opponent, and then just take those cards that you already forced them to discard. And then on top of all of that, the just obvious of eating Arclight Phoenixes, which I think all the Arcanist players knew was going to be pretty prevalent in this metagame.
Yeah, for sure. Dreadhorde Arcanist can certainly wreck a hand and wreck a graveyard, as we're going to see likely on turn number 2 here, unless we get the Dreadhorde down first. Unlicensed Hearse can come down on turn 2 and can just start chomping.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that is the choice to make sure that you control Unholy Heat. We know Unholy Heat's in the graveyard, and we see that it's already Delirious. So I think normally the best draw for these Arcanist decks is turn 1 Thoughtseize into Arcanist, but if there's an Unholy Heat that for sure kills it, you know, it's interesting to do that instead of cast Unlicensed Hearse.
Yeah, so Dreadhorde Arcanist is likely going to get chomped here, courtesy of this removal spell that relies on the Delirium, as Unholy Heat takes care of that pesky critter. So that's a bit of a feels bad there for Nico, but
it is. You got to wonder.
More action going.
Yeah, you got to wonder about that play there, giving up one of your better cards. But this is still a great turn 3 for Nico, being able to Inquisition, the only threat out of Mike's hand, and then Unlicensed Hearse to just start growing this creature. And it also works pretty cutely with Kroxa. You get to play Kroxa, crew it, and then it'll die. So it does some value,
Hey, I like that.
Yes.
Alrighty. So Unlicensed Hearse just sitting in neutral at the moment, just waiting. It's a getaway car, I imagine. Just taking a look here with the Expressive Iteration. Just a Ledger Shredder and 2 lands going for Nico, so not all that exciting.
Yeah, a few too many lands for Mike for sure here. But with another Expressive Iteration, with a Faithless Looting for now, you got a lot of card manipulation, but I don't think we'll see that Faithless Looting for too much longer.
Yeah, no, that's going bye-bye. Anything with flashback, get on out of here.
Pretty good call.
First definitely likes that. Ooh, Fable the Mirror Breaker. Super nice draw there for Nico.
And here, depending on how many cards are in Nico's graveyard, I think we're a little short of having 5 there right now. Yeah, it looks like maybe 3. Being able to go Fable the Mirror Breaker, discard Kroxa and whatever you draw, and then attack with the Shaman. You know, we are 1 card short there, it looks like, but then being able to just bring back Kroxa is a really cute, powerful play.
Oh, man. This is Fable the Mirror Breaker. Is such a good card.
It's so good. It's so good. This is one card that I was, you know, really looking at when it came out in the last set as something that would just be really good in these kind of, you know, certain spots. But it's just proving, especially with this set championship, that if you're in red, you better have a good reason to not play it, because it is just proving that good in standard and historic.
Yeah, you know, there's just certain cards where it's like, if you're not playing this, something's wrong. You know, if you're in white in standard, you should be playing the Wandering Emperor. If you're not, something's wrong.
Yep. I think we're learning those lessons. So Symmetry Sage is a nice one that we see from Mike's hand. This is one of the cards that got boosted up a little bit. That wasn't as good. It, added some toughness. It added its ability, got a little bit of a buff as well, and ends up working out quite nicely with Ledger Shredder and Dragon Rage Channeler here.
Yeah, because those creatures are all at their base pretty little. So if you just give them some extra power, +3, you're going to be hitting really hard in the air.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the original version that we're seeing. It got boosted up to be 3 power. And if you give that 3 power to Dragon Rage Channeler, then it still gets that +2/+2. So it just attacks for 5 in a world where Unlicensed Hearse is not completely dealing with it.
Nice. Alrighty, Mr. Shaman wants to attack, but Unholy Heat says no. No treasures for you. Now, there is the 4th land drawn off of the 2nd chapter of the Fable of the Mirrorbreaker, so I think we would be able to get Croxa out in the 2nd main.
Looks like we are one short. Yeah, you need that 6th card. If we had something like a Fabled Passage or something, you would be able to get it. And it was also interesting to not crew Unlicensed Hurt and get 4 damage in. Nico just recognizing, I want to get this larger, and I want to make sure I control the battlefield above everything and not let any Arclight Phoenix shenanigans come afoot.
Yeah, and also keep it out of Unholy Heat range. So
Yes.
Just get it nice and big and chunky. It's just fueling up at the gas station, That's all.
All right, and here we see Symmetry Sage doing some work.
All right, let's see what we can get. Spell Pierce is going to get chucked. It's not doing all that much right now. Ledger Shredder gets a counter on it. Let's see what Expressive Iteration has for us. There's an Arclight Phoenix that'll likely go to hand just to get hard cast, as this Hearse is doing a very good job of keeping the graveyard in check.
Yep, poor Arclight Phoenix. Not going to be doing anything too busted with a Hearse on play. And that card really does seem amazing right now. In the historic metagame. Not only against Phoenix, but Golgari Food, another deck that is very prevalent, being able to just really make the cat oven interactions really difficult, because you can, of course, in response to Hearse activating it towards a cat, bring it back if you have an extra food, but you don't always have that luxury. So.
Yeah, you just... I mean, the food deck takes so many things and so much brain power as is. As soon as you add the Hearse to the equation, it's like, oh, come on. I just want to ding you with my kitty cat.
Yeah, that's where if I'm on the ladder, I'm just giving up. But I imagine these players at the set championship will not be doing that.
Hell no. You want to make it to the World Championship, Corey?
Course,
come on.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. We're going to put 19 people into the World Championship coming up at the end of this year.
How exciting.
That's a lot.
How exciting.
That's so much to play for.
Yeah.
Oh, Unlicensed Hearse is just wrecking this graveyard. It's now at 6 power. Den of the Bugbear. Decent draw here. Fable of the Mirrorbreaker is gonna flippity flop. And next turn we can start doing some copy.
Yeah, and it looks like we are still 1 card short for Croxa coming back. And, with Dreadhorde Arcanist attacking, you're making yourself even further away from that. So not ideal here. And then Den off the top, not being an untapped 5th land to maybe attack with Hive is also kind of brutal. Ooh, got bad news for you. That's a 4
Yeah, that's not going anywhere. Yep. Now, the other downside is Dreadhorde Arcanist starts munching spells as well. So Crox is just... getting further and further away from being cast. We might not need Croxet. We have a 6/6 already. Why do we need a giant?
Exactly. This deck is flooded with 6/6s, it looks like.
Some you have to build your own, build your own giant, kind of like Build-A-Bear, but not.
There you go.
Ooh, Pillar of Flame. That's a good way to get rid of Kiki Jiki.
Yeah, and it doesn't fuel the graveyard to help out Croxa as well, because it will exile it. So yeah, not a bad draw here. And all of a sudden, this is a pretty big attack. Playing a spell, activating Symmetry Sage, and then playing Arclight Phoenix here is pretty strong.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if I'm Mike Sigrist, I'm like, oh, yeah, this does 2 damage. It kills a thing or exiles a thing. Yeah, I'm going to do that. This also gets the trigger off of the Symmetry Sage. You also get to Scry or Surveil with a Dragon's Rage Channeler, so very nice draw.
And if Nico had perfect information that they would have Thoughtseized Mike instead of Inquisition, because it would technically save a damage, and then you can eat it with Hearse. So a little punish for something that it's hard to play around, because if that is just a land and you Thoughtseize yourself and dealt yourself 2 damage, then it's just really actually detrimental. So still the correct play for sure by Nico. Just kind of rough the way it worked out.
Arclight Phoenix is going to join the fray now. As Ledger Shredder can connive, and we know what's on top, courtesy of the Dragon's Rage Chandler. So there's another critter in the bin. More power on the battlefield. And this is going to be 10 points of damage if the Dragon's Rage Chandler gets in on the action. But she's just going to hang out. Or is she going to get in? Let's see.
Yeah, now Mike's just doing the math. Like, okay, what kind of scenarios do I lose to on the other side?
I think he's safe. I'm not sure there's anything that Nico can top deck that... I mean, that is a very big hearse. Croxa can smack for 3.
Yeah, I don't... Yeah, like, bringing back Croxa, if you can somehow fill your graveyard, Croxa puts Mike down to 11. The hearse plus Arcanist is 7. That's 4. Yeah, there's really no... It's not even close. Nope. So, yeah, wow, impressive work there from Sigrist to beat the hearse there.
Very, very nice indeed. And it just shows you, the Arcanist, the Arclight Phoenix deck can shift gears from this, oh, I need to get stuff in my bin and then get them out, to, no, I'm just going to beat the heck out of you with my cheap flyers.
Yeah, absolutely. Can really flip the switch pretty quickly. So we see Nico bring in Molten Impact immediately. This is a really cool card here, being able to deal 4 damage to something, which will kill anything from Mike's side. And then any spell that is cast later from Nico will deal the excess amount of damage to a target. So if you just kill a Dragon Rage Channeler, you have 3 damage kind of in the bank for the next spell. And if Mike goes Ledger Shredder, now, all of a sudden, Nico can just play any spell and deal that remaining 3 damage to the creature, which is a really nice effect.
Pretty sweet card from Alchemy that I kind of wish would see more play, because you can do some really silly stuff with that.
I know, I love it. Some of these Alchemy cards are just so cool at just bending the normal traditional ways that we've played Magic for so long, and it's really, really cool stuff. I've been a big fan of it.
And I really do like this Arcanist deck, so hopefully Nico can find what he needs to deal with these pesky birds. Curious to see how his sideboard helps him as we go into game number 2 here. If you've just joined us, this is round 4. We're in Historic. Mike Sigrist up against Nico Bohny, and is up a game at the moment. Now, if you have just joined us, this is a very big weekend for all of these players, because we're putting 19 of them into the World Championship. So they are playing for all the marbles, Corey.
Yeah,
it's a big deal.
It is a huge deal, and if you just got here, you better be staying, because, well, this is awesome. So, but I'm with you
3
though.
days.
I think this Arcanist deck looks really good right now. You have the Consumes All in the sideboard for the food matchups. I think you're already pretty set up against Phoenix decks. It seems pretty well positioned. And anytime, Jan Merkel is playing the same deck as me, I would feel pretty good too. And I know Jan was playing this as well.
Alrighty, well, let's kick things off. Let's get underway. No black mana for Nico. But kept a pretty decent hand here with Dreadhorde Arcanist in it. Unholy Heat can't take care of that Symmetry Sage due to her buff. So she got a slightly bigger booty, so that's not going to die.
Yeah, a big, that's kind of exactly what you want from these Arcanist hands, is Inquisition into Arcanist or Thoughtseize into Arcanist, backed up with some removal. But yeah, no Swamp makes this a little bit of a risky keep. But even this Unholy Heat, if you can Unholy Heat something twice, is going to be still pretty powerful as long as Arcanist lives.
Ooh. Ledger Shredder off of the Faithless Looting there, so he's going to be happy to see that, is Mike Sigrist. But Symmetry Sage doing exactly what it needs to do. Starts early, gets the damage in, and just starts the, right, here are my birds, deal with it. Train.
Yeah, there's a
this is kind of crappy, where you have to kill this and then recast off of Dreadhorde Arcanist.
Yeah, it is brutal, and you definitely would rather have just, a fatal push or even a Seasoned Pyromancer to be able to discard Fatal Push. So that way you're still progressing the battlefield. You get to put 4 power onto the battlefield and then still cast that card for free. So any land there would have been excellent, but a little unfortunate for Nico to not find it.
Let's hope the next draw lines up nicely for him, as we're going to see Ledger Shredder hit the board. No cheap spell, though, to get the Connive, which kinda sucks. But you know what? We're just going to keep swinging dudes at each other and see what happens. Land? Nope. Expressive Iteration? Oh, no. What am I talking about? Mike doesn't need lands. He's got 4 of them.
Yes. Yeah, and that was the risk of this keep, and it definitely did not pay off. But, you know, really not out of time just yet. I think if Nico can find a land, ideally a swamp next turn, I think we're still in this. But it really does have to probably come next turn.
Yeah, for sure. Unholy Heat, again, can't take care of the 3 toughness creatures, so Dreadhorde Arcanist will live another turn.
It can if you connive. You need a land, right?
What needs to go in the bin? Land?
I think a land, but yeah, Sigrist says he did it pretty confidently, so I'm feeling that is going to be able to deal with it.
Good job, Siggy. So gets that pesky threat off the board, and now Nico is left with nothing. Needs a land to do something on his next turn. Fable the Mirror Breaker or Seasoned Pyromancer in hand. Ledger Shredder just chipping away. Fatal Push again. Not what you want to see, and this is bad news bears for Nico Bohny. Yeah. Such a pity.
That is a brutal one. A really nice play the turn before by Sigrist, recognizing Ledger Shredder, no matter what, can discard one of those extra lands, which Sigrist already wanted to do. So a nice play by Mike.
And we're considering our options, of which there are many. And things are looking dire straightish here for Nico Bohny, as a couple of birds are going to get chucked into the graveyard here. Let's see if we can get our 3 spells rocking. Yeah, sure. Let's do some more Faithless Looting. A couple extra things in the yard. There's Snarklight Phoenix. There's nothing to deal with this graveyard right now. And here come the pigeons. Yep. That's going to be a concession for Nico Bohny, so an unfortunate way to end that round for him, but GG's to Mike Sigrist, proving once again that you don't mess with the voids.